We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
President-elect Trump's new cabinet is starting to take shape because overnight, while you were sleeping, he tapped Tom Homan to be his border czar.
Trump saying, quote, "There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders." Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin.
He worked with the president to come up with this job description. So let's hear from him. In his first interview after the major announcement, incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Tom, congratulations to you. It's bad for us. We lose you as a contributor. What went into the decision and the position?
Well, look, I've been on this network 4 years complaining about what this administration did to this border. I've been yelling and screaming about it, telling them what they need to do to fix it. So when the president asked me, would you come back and fix it? Of course I have to. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. So, look, I'm honored the president asked me to come back and help solve this national security crisis. So I'm looking forward to it. And look, I love Fox. I love the family there. But I think that the calling is clear. I got to go back and help because every morning I get up, every morning I'm pissed off about what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. So I'm going to go back and do what I can to fix it.
So, Tom, let's talk about.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have some bad news for the left. We got some bad news for the left. Liberal heads are about to explode over the fact that Trump has announced that he is going to appoint former ICE director Tom Homan as the incoming border czar. Okay, he's going to be in charge of securing the border and conducting the mass deportation operations that the Trump administration promised that has to happen. Okay, the illegals, you might as well start packing your bags. Start packing your bags because you are going to get deported, right? And there's no better man for the job than Tom Homan.
President-elect Trump announced Tom Homan, the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who backed his zero tolerance policy, will be his administration's border czar. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote that Homan's areas of control will include the southern and northern borders, all maritime and aviation security. Trump added border czar Homan will be in charge of the deportation of illegal immigrants. Homan touts hardline immigration views and previously vowed to run the biggest deportation force this country has ever seen.
So Zanny, obviously this is going to be a big part of what Donald Trump likely does at the beginning of his administration. He promised mass deportations, historic deportations. The American people heard it every day for about a year and a half and voted for him. So this is going to be one of the first things. And I would guess one of the great challenges would be politically for this possible director to avoid the sort of chaos we saw at the beginning of his first term, where those first 3-4 days were just pictures of airports and other places just absolutely jammed with people, with protests, with chaos.
I'm telling you guys, okay? Because if you don't understand who Tom Homan is, let me remind you really quickly, because this guy is a progressive's worst nightmare, okay? He has had run-ins with AOC and the progressives over the years when it comes to his no-nonsense, zero-tolerance border policy in which he does not give one F about the emotional arguments made by the left that help facilitate illegal immigration into the United States. And again, I want to play this clip of Tom Homan so that you guys can get a better understanding of this guy and who he is, because we should be excited, right? We should be excited that Trump picked this man for the job. Take a look.
You were saying that. I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, You want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan,
Look,
please respect the chair and the authority of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time, and you let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we have approved an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority.
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Homan!
You work for me. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
The witness will suspend.
It says the official recommendation. There were 3 different options presented. The third included the option for family separation. This initiative would pursue prosecution of all amenable adults, including those presenting with a family unit. Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo?
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his family.
Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Talk about this now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was out stumping for Bernie Sanders in Iowa. Let's take a listen to what she had to say on Saturday.
Organizing is about tipping people off if you start to see that ICE and CBP are in communities to try to keep people safe. I'm here because Senator Sanders has actually committed to breaking up ICE and CBP.
Tom, your thoughts on that statement?
It's ridiculous. It's an extremely stupid statement made by somebody I never considered real smart anyways. But here's the elected lawmaker. She's a congresswoman standing on the stage telling people how to obstruct ICE, tipping off people that ICE is looking for. And she needs to realize 9 out of 10 of everybody ICE arrested last year was a convicted criminal or pending criminal charges. Let me talk about a few. Last year, 137,000 criminals, 2,000 were murders, 12,000 sex offenses, 45,000 assaults, 62,000 drug offenses, 10,000 weapons offenses. And she wants the community to tip these people off. The ICE is in their neighborhood operating. ICE's job is already extremely dangerous. Now she's making it more dangerous. And she's one of these Democrats keep saying, no one's above the law. The president is above the law. We need to impeach the president because he's not above the law. But apparently illegal aliens are above the law because ICE isn't allowed to arrest them. It's a ridiculous statement.
Tom Homan,
it's a dangerous statement.
Yeah. Tom, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
I got a message. As a guy who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home.
I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
Yeah, goosebumps, okay? Because I know that President Trump just hired a guy who is dead serious about doing the job that has to be done at the border to protect this country. I know that for a fact. I'm not even worried, okay? It's picks like this that help me sleep better at night knowing that, okay, we have the adults back in charge, right? Okay, Kamala Harris was the border czar before, okay? And Trump has already massively upgraded that position, okay? Already massively upgraded. And the best thing that I like about this pick is the fact that this guy has the experience on the ground, okay? And he has risen through the ranks, right? He's done this his whole career. So he is 100% qualified for this job. And this is what I love the most. This is not a DEI pick. This is not a diversity pick. This is a straight up, who is the most qualified man for the job? And this guy is him, right? He's him.
Let's talk about the job, because you're not an amateur. You've been doing this for years. You're a beat cop. Also, you worked the border before, went over to ICE. You've done it all. What does the process look like? Because I think some people get the impression that you're shooting from your hip, but you know what you're doing here, right?
I know exactly what I'm doing. And look, this is the second time I came out of retirement for this president. And because it matters. And look, I was a Border Patrol agent. I wore that uniform, and I'm proud that I wore that uniform. So, and I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that actually came up through the ranks. So the 20,000 men and women that worked for me, I didn't ask them to do anything. I do myself, because I was one of them. So look, I know the border, and I know there's a lot of great patriots. Look, I shut my phone off Friday night because I couldn't handle the phone calls, the texts, and emails from thousands of ICE agents and Border Patrol agents excited about the rumor I'm coming back. But more importantly, that thousands of retired agents, retired Border Patrol agents, retired military that want to come in and volunteer to help this president secure the border and do the deportation operation. So I've been off the grid for 3 days just because I couldn't handle all the phone calls, and plus all the death threats rolling in. My family's not at home right now because that's starting. But that's something we're going to deal with. They're not going to bully me away. They're not going to shut me up. They're not going to make me go away. This is the biggest national security vulnerability this nation has seen since 9/11. We have to fix it.
And it's one of the reasons Kamala Harris lost and Donald Trump won. So Tom, you just mentioned deportations. I know during the last Trump administration, when you were there, they did have the large-scale worksite, essentially raids, where they would go into a place and there would be hundreds of people who were in the country illegally. I know on 60 Minutes, a couple of weeks ago, you said that those would continue under Donald Trump in the next administration. What do you have planned? Well, I know you don't want to give away the whole game book, but you do have deportations, mass workplace stuff planned. Any other kind of category of deportations of interest?
Look, as the president said on stage many times, which I agree with 100%, it's going to be the same it was during his first administration, which is just a hell of a lot more of them, because 10 million people have entered this country illegally under the Biden administration, or they actually let into this country, even though it's violation of federal law, what they've been doing, the abuse of the parole authority. But look, I've been clear, President Trump's been clear. Public safety threats and national security threats will be the priority, because they have to be. They pose the most danger to this country. So we're going to prioritize those groups, those who always have final orders, those that had due process at great taxpayer expense, and the federal judge says you must go home, and they didn't. They became a fugitive. So, and as part of worksite operations have to happen. Here's why, Steve. Where do we find most victims of sex trafficking and forced labor trafficking? At work sites. And the Biden administration shut down work sites. On one point, they say we care about sex trafficking and human trafficking. Then they shut down work site enforcement, which is one of the main areas we find the victims.
Yeah, so you guys ready for more of this? Are you guys ready for more of this? I'm ready for more of this. I'm ready for more liberal tears, okay? Because we're going to have a whole lot of liberal tears during the next 4 years, okay? Because Trump is not playing. He's not playing, okay? He put a guy in charge that does not give one F about this. He does not care about this imagery right here, okay? This stage photo op. Everybody remembers this. Everybody remembers this. I want to see a lot more of this, okay? And the more of this that you see, that is a great indication that the Trump administration is doing a great job, right? The more that these people boo-hoo, whine, and cry over Trump's appointments, the more that you know that, okay, these are the right people for the job, okay? Because trust me, these people, they're going to lose their mind over this guy. And once he gets into office, right, and he can start conducting these mass deportations and securing the border, doing what we got to do. And again, we don't have to separate families. We can just send the whole family back, right, which is what we should have been doing in the first place, okay? We don't have to separate any families. We just send them all back. We send them all back, right? Once he starts doing that, again, these people will be at the border. They'll be boo-hoo, whine, and cry, performative tears that you didn't see in the Biden administration, right? Although, again, you did have things happen in the Biden administration that, you know, liberals claim that they don't support, like, for example, kids in cages, right? You had that happen, okay? But, you know, the tears didn't come out. But don't be surprised if the tears come back out under the Trump administration, because we got a whole lot more illegals to deal with than we did under the first Trump administration. So moves like this are a good indication that the second Trump administration is serious about executing on the promises that were made during the campaign. And again, one of the main promises was to have the largest deportation operation in American history. And Trump picked the right man for the job. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.